Okay, this is probably going to be a very chatty vlog. Oh, where to begin? Okay, I'll just start by telling what spurred on this idea for this video today. I was watching another YouTuber this morning, and today's December the 1st, and it's a common thing for a lot of YouTubers to do the Vlogmas, and it's where they vlog every day. Well, you know, I'm not that person that could probably ever do that, but anyway, it got me to thinking about Christmas and that time of, it's that time of year and it's rolling up. But anyway, the point I'm getting to is it took my mind back to when I was young and fond memories I had from childhood when we had Christmas. And I'm going to share some of mine with you, and you all can share your little stories and special memories down in the comments below with me. But this ain't going to be in no particular order, rhyme, or reason. Just as they come to my mind, I'm going to spit them out. But growing up, I grew up in a holler. And I had lots of cousins that lived close by. And as I've said in another video before, my mama, Lucy, her house was a hub, like a meeting place for all of us kids. And she loved each and every one of us and treated us all the same. Wasn't no difference in us, but she was such a good mama. And my grandma on my dad's side, she was so good to me too. And maybe one day I can get into a video telling you a little bit about her, because I love both of them equally, but they had totally different personalities. Both good women, good Christian women. And they was a good influence on me. So let's get on with the good Christmas memories. So anyway, my Mama Lucy, her big thing, gearing up through December, she would go out. We had like a local fruit market. And man, I sure miss being able to go to a fruit market like what we used to have. They'd sell big old cardboard boxes of peaches, apples, just all different kinds of fresh produce. It's kind of like a farmer's market, but back then it was the little store. That's where you go to get the good on the fruit and the good deals of stuff. But she would, well, I even remember my mom many times would go and she'd buy boxes, say, of peaches. And peaches back then was so good. It's just night and day difference in how fruit and stuff tastes now than what it did then. I know part of it's probably as we get older, we lose a lot of our taste, but I just don't think the food is, the fresh produce and fruit stuff is as good as what they used to be for whatever reason. But anyway, Mom would buy the big boxes of, like, say, peaches, and I remember helping her peel those, and she'd can those up and make the best peaches ever was. But getting back to the Christmas thing, so Mama's tradition was she'd always go buy a big box of apples. She would usually go buy a big box of oranges, and she would go to the store and she'd buy the big, I don't know if you call them family pack, but say it was Fifth Avenue bars. They'd be the big full-size candy bars. They'd be like, what, 5 or 6 to a package? So she would typically buy that. She would buy the Zero bars. I don't know if any of y'all can remember that. They still sell them. That was her favorite candy bar, by the way. Snickers, Milky Way, at least those 4. They might have been different ones. And then she would buy the big bulk thing of the Christmas candy. She would buy, oh gosh, what else? she would buy one of those big, huge peppermint sticks that you could get. It was like a candy cane, but it was just the big round stick. She'd always have one of those around, and they kept it sitting on the kitchen table, and we'd sit around, gather around, and we'd crack on that with a butter knife handle and get us a little piece of peppermint off of it. We thought that was a grand thing to see that big old candy cane, or candy stick, peppermint stick. But she would buy the little boxes of the little short peppermint sticks. Gosh, she bought so much, but, oh, and she would buy a big thing by bulk of, excuse me, of mixed nuts, Brazil nuts, hazelnuts, walnuts, about any kind of nut you could think of was in that bag. Oh, my eye was itching. And I remember we would sit around, usually we'd get all around the wood stove and have those little things for cracking the holes on the nuts, those little metal, like plier things. And we'd take turns passing them little pliers around and crack those and eat the walnuts or whatever we had. And I always remember them Brazil nuts was always so hard to get out of the shell, but they were good. But another thing she would do, and I can't remember what store she went to, but they used to have little coloring books. They were based on like nursery rhymes, like the Pied Piper would be one, Goldilocks would be another one, Jack and the Beanstalk, all those little childhood stories would be in a little coloring book, and they were real thin coloring books, but I think back then you could get like maybe 5 for $1 or something. Maybe it's cheaper than that. But she would go and buy a bunch of those, and she'd buy the little single pack of crayons. I think it had like 8 crayons in it. And anyway, when us kids come around, we all got us we got to pick out our choice of a coloring book. We get the little crayons. And then we would be able to go and get us a piece of candy or a candy bar. And we knew not to get more than what we could handle, not to pig ourselves on it. And not be wasteful, you know, that's what she'd always say. I don't care if you having anything, just don't be wasteful. So, and then we always had that fresh fruit, was always so good. But that just brings back memories how she really made it a festive month for all of us kids. I don't see how she afforded to do it, but she did. But now once all that candy and stuff was gone, it was gone. She wasn't going to go back and buy it. But you know, we had aunts that lived there, and they kept on us, kept us from just running and grabbing. You know how kids will do. And then I got to thinking about their Christmas tree, the different little decorations they'd hang around the house. And one thing I always thought was so ugly, I never did care for. Remember them icicles, they called them? It was just like little flimsy tinfoil-y looking things. They'd be in the bunches, and they would drape those on the Christmas tree, and I never did like those. But another thing they had these, they were a tinfoil. Some of them were red. You could find them gold, silver, but you know, some of the shapes might be like a big Christmas bulb, and they'd come folded, but anyway, you open them up and they would fan out, and you fold them like this. That's the best way to know explain. And you'd attach them there at the edge, and it would make like a Christmas bulb. I remember they had the Christmas bells. I always thought those were so pretty. If I could find a picture of them on Google somewhere, I'll post it here. I always thought those was so pretty. My aunt had the prettiest nativity scene, and it was had the little shepherd, the wise men, the little animals. It had the little camels, but they were plastic. But the colors were so pretty on those, and that sticks out in my mind. And it's just certain things comes back to you that brings a smile on your face. I also remember them stringing lights up outside on the porch. And they weren't the little dinky Christmas lights. They were those great big bulbs. But they were pretty. And I still think they're pretty. They would go and they bought the fake snow in a can. And they had little stencils they put up on the window, and they'd spray that fake snow over it. When you remove the stencil, it would have a little picture of something, like maybe a star or a snowflake. And that's another thing we did. Us kids would make us little snowflakes, paper snowflakes, and they'd hang them on the windows for us. And one of my favorite memories was they had one of those big floor model record players. They had the radio in it, the big stereo sound. It's like a big piece of furniture. But they had different records, and they were Christmas records. One was Rudolph and had a bunch of Christmas songs on it and different ones. And I remember our aunt would let us get those out, and we just listened to one big record after another, you know. And we loved those little songs. That was like a tradition every year, you know. But anyway, I just wanted to share those little thoughts that come on my mind today and share them with y'all. And I love to hear your all's comments back of what made Christmas special for you all. Of course, we always had a good Christmas dinner. There's always plenty for everybody to eat. But yeah, more simpler times and better times, I think.